Word up, it's Amir Diamond checking in with a very special guest, one of my brothers in the industry, a father, an author.
Yep. Oh yeah.
A best-selling author at that.
Come on, I'll take it. A
DJ, unless you're a retired DJ. Are you a retired DJ?
I still get pulled out of retirement from time to time, dog. Yeah, I get those special requests.
A photographer.
Yes.
A marketing genius.
Oh man.
A salesman. I'm sure there's a bunch of other...
You make me sound really important, dog.
You are very important. You are very important. It's a very exciting week. We got David Settle here with us. Man, let me clap it up for you.
Come on.
I'm super proud of you.
I'm just happy to be kicking it with you, bro. You know how long we've been trying to do this?
A long time.
Yes, bro.
But the time has finally come.
Yes.
So, it's release week for your book.
Yeah, man.
How are you feeling about it? Is it overwhelming now that it's release week, or have you put in so much work to the point where you're like, okay, it's finally out.
Yeah.
I don't have to stress about it anymore. How you feeling about it?
Nah, man, it's definitely not the latter.
Okay.
There's absolutely I think there's more stress upon release week because you're like, are people really gonna buy it? And then you're like, okay, I don't really care if they buy it. Are they gonna really rock with the content, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really proud of what I put in these pages. I tell people all the time, like the first book, that's kind of like my mixtape, right? You can tell I got that music background.
Yeah.
But this is like my album, bro. Like I really put in a lot of work, intentional effort into the words that are in these pages. So much so that we crafted a evidence-based workbook in the book, right? So like you're gonna need your pen. I'm glad you brought your pen with you.
I came prepared.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna need
prepared.
it. Yeah, this you gotta put in the work with this one. People keep asking me about the audiobook. I'm almost done with it, but I'm kind of hesitant about putting it out though.
An audiobook too?
I don't know if I really want to do it because
you should.
You need to have this. You need to have something to write in. Like you got to.
But what do you mean? I don't get it.
There you go. Like you gotta, the workbook on this joint is the most powerful part about it.
But we still, I feel like, need somebody to tell us what we need to be doing. We need the audiobook side. You don't think so?
I'm working on it though. I'm
Okay.
working on it. So
Okay.
I'm almost done. It'll be my voice. So you'll have that Houston, southwest side of Houston, Texas accent all over that joint. But yeah, man, I'm really proud of it. So
the name of the book is Batteries Not Included: How to Power Your Purpose and Fuel Your Future.
come on.
First, I want to talk about your first book that you put out.
Yeah.
Was that this year or was that last year?
That was last year.
That was last
A year
year.
ago.
It seems like it was this year.
It does, right? Because we were out there working, bro. We were putting in work thanks to you and a lot of other folks who supported the project. You know, somebody told me the other day, they was like, bro, you like the Slim Thug of books. You just gonna keep dropping projects.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if you know.
I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think it's needed. I think that you have a way of putting words to paper that help people get the message that you're trying to put out there.
Yeah.
Other people might try to word it a certain way and they don't get it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the way your first book read, so I'm hoping that this reads pretty similar. I also want to talk about the fact that, like, I think you're a smart man when it comes to, when I got your first book, I thought it was just going to be about you, which you told us some personal stories, but it really was about bringing people closer to God, in my opinion.
Man. Yeah.
So, with Batteries Not Included, is it the same thing? Is God the battery that we need, or are there other batteries?
Yes and no, man. Matter of fact, what inspired this book was a sermon that I preached, and then I took that same sermon and I rewired it a little bit to deliver it to high school kids. So, you know, I took out all the scriptures and stuff like that and just made it relevant to the public education sector, and I got the same response. So I made this book more digestible for folks who may not know God, right? So you might not see me using a whole lot of scripture in this book, but if you know, you're gonna be like, oh, I know where he got that from. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make sure that, like, I wanted people who may not know God be able to read this, apply the principles, and if it brings you closer to God, man, that's fantastic, right? But I didn't want to turn anybody off that needed to hear this message, and I think that God will be glorified in this. So yeah, man, it's God is definitely one of the God inspired all these batteries, bro. Let's just put it like that.
I was going to talk about some of the batteries. Well, I want to talk about all of them, actually.
Come on, let's go.
The focus to thrive.
Yes.
The freedom to flourish. the faith to fly,
Come on.
the force to succeed,
Yeah, man.
and the fun to fuel fulfillment.
Gotta have fun, bro.
So, did you learn about these batteries just from life experiences, just from church? Was it a teacher, a mentor, a family member, a parent who taught you about these batteries? Where did you learn that this is what we needed for success?
Yeah, so it was a combination. You know, it definitely wasn't one place. This was the culmination of me climbing out of a very deep, dark hole of depression, battling suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. And having to go to therapy, having to ask myself very, very tough questions, right? Becoming more and more self-aware, looking myself in the mirror and saying, man, I really don't like that. How do I change it? And yes, it was a combination of going to therapy, talking to my pastor, my mentors, my coaches, my wife at the time. Like honestly, bro, even my kids would they would tell me a lot of the things that I did wrong. Like they were like, Dad, you have the worst temper on the planet. And I see Dylan over there shaking his head. But being like, a lot of parents won't hear their kids out. Yeah. And so I became intentional about working on that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where they came from. It was a culmination of all of those pieces, and I just poured them all into this book.
I always wondered, where did you learn to be a father from? Did that come from having a good one in your household, or did it come from not having a good one and you tried to be a better man?
Man, so shout out to my dad. He's no longer with us. You know, he was in and out of jail, alcoholic, and you might be saying like, wow, like he must be horrible, but he wasn't. He just had his vices, right? Man, he was the greatest human on the planet. He just struggled with alcoholism.
Did you learn that as an adult? Did you think that...
Yeah, definitely learned that as an adult.
Like, did you hate him? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you hate him when you were younger, and now you've learned that he wasn't that bad of a man?
Man, it's funny. I didn't hate him when I was younger, but I was fortunate the later years of his life to really, really spend time with him. You know, he got to see me kind of at the peak of my success, being able to invite him over to the office for DJs Entertainment, some of the stuff that we built here in the city, and I was really proud to be able to share that with him. But I have a lot of him in me, right? Like, he was a carpenter. I'm really good with my hands. He was a mathematician. Like, I love math. Don't let the tattoos and stuff fool you. I'm a nerd, deep down inside. But no, I didn't necessarily. Well, I'll tell you what. I had a phenomenal father-in-law who was actually my mentor before I got married. And he was my pastor, is my pastor. And he taught me a lot about God, about parenting, about fatherhood, just what it means to be a man. And he used to always tell me, he'd be like, Dave, your dad still has a lot to give you. He can share with you a lot of like what not to do. And he did. My dad was very open in the later years of his life about, hey, Dave, I made some of these mistakes. Watch out.
So how long did it take you to write this book?
Not long, bro. Not long at all.
Would it have taken you sooner if you didn't have these kids in your life?
Yes. Oh, everything would be done a lot sooner if I didn't have 5 kids. But I wouldn't have anybody to share it with, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have anybody to share it with. But
no, I'm cracking jokes, but it's just it's because I wonder like about the balance,
man.
Because I see you putting in time with their kids. I see you being a working man as well, and then you're writing best-selling books in that same breath. So how do you balance it all?
I do it before they wake up and after they go to bed. You know, I'm very intentional about waking up an hour or two before they do. You know, otherwise, the moment they wake up, we off to the races, right? And you know, we have a very structured household in terms of bedtimes and things of that nature. When they go down to bed at 8:30, I'm like, all right, bet I have a little bit of time to work on personal projects and things of that nature. So like balance for me, and this is something I learned throughout this process too. I discovered that I had ADHD when I was 36, and so having to come up with new routines and structure and balance, and you know, it's been a game changer for me.
I wonder if, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but having ADHD, do you attribute that to you being great at everything, or do you just attribute that to you being yourself?
Man, it's tough to tell, man.
Because you're doing DJing, you're, like I said, a marketing genius, you're writing books, you're doing you got your hands in all different sorts of things, and you're great at every single one of them I've seen you done.
I had this revelation yesterday, because J Mac asked me a very, very probing question, and I actually gave it some thought. You know how somebody asks you a question, and then you think about the answer you gave, and you're like, man, I really wish I would have answered it like this. You know, I have done a lot. And I actually talk about in the book about that being kind of one of my weaknesses, right? Being good at a lot of stuff, but not great at one thing. And I talk about that. I'm very open about that.
I'm gonna say great at a lot of things.
Okay, so cool. Well, but here's what I came up with, at least what I feel I came up with. I have become great at some things because when I focus on that one thing, I focus on that one thing, right? When I was growing DJS Entertainment, I wasn't doing anything else. I was putting all my energy and my effort into that business. And even so much so to where I went from DJing like all these different events, right? Like corporate parties, birthday parties, clubs, festivals, da-da-da-da. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just focus on weddings. And I went from 20 to 30K a year to like well over $300,000 in less than a year, right? When I made the switch to one thing, right? I consider myself decent at photography because I was able to put DJS on autopilot. I didn't have to focus on it, have people and systems and procedures in place that where the business still brought in money. But now I can focus on a new hobby, and I became pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was focused on just that. When I write the books, it's like, all right, I'm able to like pour myself into these books. So I heard a quote this past weekend that said, "Be where your feet are," right? Like, for instance, this interview, I'm right here. I'm not worried about 3 hours from now. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about yesterday. I'm just worried about like kicking it with my homie.
Look, let me pull out my pen for this quote.
I wish I would have said that yesterday,
J-Mac.
Be where your feet are. That's all you got, man. And for creatives out there that are like myself, that find themselves being a jack of all trades and a master of none, pick one thing. And it doesn't mean that you have to pick that one thing for the rest of your life. It could be seasonal.
Was there one thing that you were really focused on when you were growing up? Like, was there one particular thing that you really wanted to be? That you had your heart set
girls?
up?
Like, no, I'm just playing.
One profession.
You said growing up. I'm like,
one profession that you wanted to be.
So growing up, you could not tell me I wasn't going to go to the NBA. Right?
I didn't know you played ball.
Bro, I was the stereotypical white kid. I couldn't dunk, couldn't jump high, but bro, you better guard me from half court. Like, this was before Steph Curry. Like,
do you still have skills?
I could get out there and shoot. Your lights out.
Your son said no.
He ain't never beat me. So
I gotta see a one-on-one challenge one of these days. I'm ready for it.
Nah, man, I'm getting older.
Okay.
So
we're gonna blame it on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on the age. But I can still shoot, though. But yeah, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to go to the NBA. And then after that, it was music, DJing. And unfortunately, I was able to turn my turntables into a very successful career for myself and for my teammates. So, yeah, I was a pretty decent drug dealer, too, for a little while.
Seriously.
That's a whole nother story. But
seriously.
Yeah.
What got you out of that?
Man, God, bro. And some people around me at the time that invited me to this church camp. It was actually Toby. And he was like, "Hey, bro, it's going to be girls from all over the country." So, of course, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I needed to lay low for a little while anyway. And I was able to hear the message of salvation about Jesus and how he died for my sins. And I was like, yo, like, I ain't never heard it like that. And, that's where my walk with God started. And came back home, closed up shop, and ended up going to college and, making that 180.
It's David Settle, new book out right now.
Come on.
Batteries not included.
Yes.
How to power your purpose and fuel your future. What happens when you don't have these batteries? What does life look like? It's
like living life without a map or trying to walk in somewhere where the lights are out, right? I'm not saying you can't make it. It's just you get lucky. All I'm trying to do is to minimize the luck and maximize the intention, maximize the success. If somebody is giving you a blueprint or a roadmap, I'm like, yo, let me take that. Yeah. I have stopped trying to fight GPS. Like, I used to be like, all right, if GPS said I can get there in 25 minutes, I think I can get there in 22 if I take this route, right? And I'm from Houston. I know these streets. Bro,
push the gas a little bit harder, get there a little bit faster?
I don't know what it is, bro, but man, Google, they got it on lock, dog. So that's what this is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that, man, if you don't have this book, you ain't gonna be successful. Like, nah, bro, you can. You definitely can. But these batteries, these tools have helped me to manage, especially pulling myself out of a very deep, dark hole of depression. And I just wanted to pass that on to the next person who might find themselves in a similar situation or even if you're not in a deep dark depression, you're just trying to figure your way out. You're trying to figure your way through life. Like, how do I get to the next spot? You know, then you know, this book is for you as well.
Got you. Anytime I interview somebody, I like to play a game with them as well to get inside of their head. So that's what we're about to do now. It's called Through the Ringer. You've actually answered some of these questions already, but we're going to start with, what is one of your favorite go-to karaoke songs?
Okay. I'm going to go with John Mayer, Gravity. Or Tennessee Whiskey. I'll take Tennessee Whiskey. Or
I just did a John Mayer one the other day, Waiting on the World to Change. That's one of mine.
It's classic. I'm a huge John Mayer fan. I'll be the dude to pull up at karaoke and sing some Kirk Franklin.
Come on now.
Like, give me some Nelly, some classic Nelly country grammar, like those songs that we all sing together.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, anyway.
One of your favorite childhood memories?
Man, my memory is horrible.
I was about to say, you had a tough childhood.
I did. I tried to block out a lot of stuff. I was gonna be like, man, this one time I got robbed. I enjoyed playing basketball. Just like, it was a different time when we were growing up, because you know, we could go outside all day, and I just really enjoyed just hanging out at my homie's house, playing basketball, drinking from the water fountain on the side of the house, scraping up change. There was this little Chinese restaurant across the street from the crib. We'd all scrape together our change up and go run and grab some shrimp fried rice.
You're describing
A-Leaf.
And I was about to say, this sounds like my childhood.
You know what I'm saying?
Walking right up the street to Ocean.
Yes, Ocean. Okay,
yes,
favorite
bro.
childhood memory. School shopping at Ocean. There you go. I don't know, man. If you missed Ocean, Astroworld, bro.
Ooh.
If you missed, not Travis Scott Astroworld, but Astroworld.
The real Astroworld, yes.
Bro. And then going to the movies. I'm sorry. Like, now it's all coming back. Getting dropped off at the movies. So now. Yes, I did.
Squirting your cat?
I did terrorize my cat when I was a little kid.
Sounds like my brother. What's one goal that you've been trying to reach recently?
Becoming a better dad. That's been just straight out, flat out, becoming a better parent and guide and source of just for my kids. That's been the main goal.
What's one of the last things that disappointed you?
Falling short of becoming a better dad.
You're hard on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like that. When that is the main thing, you know, you tend to be the most critical of, right? If I don't sell any books, I'm not tripping. I mean, I kind of am. Like, don't get it twisted. But I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, right? But you know, I lose sleep over, are my kids being successful in school? Or am I leaving something substantial behind for when they do come? You know, because I hate, you know, I can tell this to thousands of people on stage and be like, hey, we're all going to go through struggle, develop resilience, overcome. It's like, I don't want my kids to go through nothing, but I know they got to. So being able to provide them with tools when they encounter challenges and struggles and seeing them develop the emotional resilience it takes to survive in this world, that's what it's about for me.
Earlier you said one of your worst qualities is being good at a lot of things. What is one of your best qualities?
One of my best qualities is I'm pretty empathetic, and man, I'm good with people. You know, I consider myself a lover of people, and that has gotten me into a lot of spaces. And when I say I'm good with people, I don't mean like in a manipulative way. I'm good to people. Yeah,
you are.
You know what I'm saying?
I got to say I appreciate you, because you're one of the people who would just call just to check up on you, check up on somebody, and not ask for favors, just to genuinely see how that person is doing. So thank you for those calls.
I do call with the favors from time to time too, though.
It's all good.
But nah, man, that's what it is, man. Relationships are everything.
You're an author, of course. We have this book that we're talking about today, but what are two of your favorite books that are not your own?
Yeah. Okay. Number one, The Impact of Influence series by my man Chip Baker. He around here somewhere. No, those series are incredible because it's so dope, because he highlights super successful people and they all just share their stories, man. I love it. Another one, I recently, You Owe You by Dr. Eric Thomas. That's been a big go-to for me. Anything E.T., bro. You know, I'm all about Eric Thomas.
Another one of the questions is, what is one of your favorite quotes or words to live by? But that's one that you already answered. Be where your feet are.
Be where your feet are.
So the last question is going to be, does sugar go on grits?
Dog. See.
The people want to know.
I'm a shrimp and grits guy. So like, you know, when I eat my shrimp and grits, there's no sugar. It's butter. Like it's all about the roux that goes into it. It's almost like a borderline between gumbo but no, I'm here for the shrimp and grits, so I can't say sugar. I can't.
That's a great way to get out of that question. I feel like that's a great way.
Yeah.
You can't do sugar on grits.
See, I gotta be careful how I answer this question because I'm white, and people gonna automatically be like, "Oh, he don't season his food, no way." You know what I'm saying?
As David said on new book out, Batteries Not Included, How to Power Your Purpose.
Come on.
And Fuel Your Future. Where can people get it at?
Oh, you already know, man. Everywhere books are sold, right? Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, my IG page, at The David Settle. That's THE, David. Hopefully you know how to spell David. Settle, like settle down. So at The David Settle on all social media platforms, at TheDavidSettle.com. It's everywhere, man.
I'm ready to get into it.
Come on, let's go.
I got my pen ready.
Let's go.
Appreciate you for having me.
No, I appreciate you for having me, man. This has been a joy and honor. You know I love you, bro.
I love you too. It's Amir Diamond and David Settle.
Let's go.